Guys, are you ready?
This conference will now be recorded.
Very good. So last part I am discussing. I have a machine which having a good capacity, and I have a small machines which is a lower in hardware. Okay. Of course, I have to show you one more thing, that is thin client. Maybe you've seen in your college. Okay. So this is a thin client. So if you see, this is a small dabba. Okay, this is a small box is there now. This is called a thin client. What is this thin client? It contains a very low end processor. So you can see quantum some hey, QHM6056B thin client with a 1 gigahertz dual core A7 processor, like a mobile processor type. Okay, 512 MB RAM, 4 GB ROM. ROM means like a storage purpose. It contains a basic operating system, Linux or some Windows minimal type of operating system. Means basic GUI type of operating system is there. So this is a thin client. Normally we have a desktop machines, very big in a size. It contains a lot of other things, like we can install things, right? So what is this thin client? Is a basic interface operating system only. Okay. So what people will do in organizations, so lot of people are working in a organization, so they can't purchase each individual one single desktop, and it requires a lot of licensing also. What they will do, they take a very big system. So for example, just like earlier, I put a name S1, like I put a name C1, C2, C3. So these people will access this remotely using remote desktop protocol. If it is a Linux, using a putty kind of stuff, like a SSH or telnet kind of stuff, so they access this server from their thin clients. Thin client is the cost is around 1500 to 2500, like that only. Okay, normal desktop cost is around 20,000 above, 25 30,000 you have to invest on a normal desktop. But thin client is around 15 to 20 15 to 1500 to 2000 3000 cost only, you will get it. Okay, it is a very small kind of stuff. Just it is a terminal to connect to the network, so the through network they can connect it. If you go to the railway station, okay, so railway station reservation counter or railway station any ticketing counter, so they have a monitor without any color kind of stuff, right? It is, they connect. They also having a only terminals. The terminal is connected to a central system. Central system connected to directly mainframe. Mainframe means it's a very big computer. Okay, so here it is. We can access this thing. This desktop can access from here using remote desktop protocol in generally, or some terminal kind of stuff. Okay, this same desktop we can access from different PCs like this. Okay, but problem with the Microsoft kind of stuff, Microsoft has a single machine, single user, single access only, not a multi-access kind of stuff. Okay, so Microsoft provide the licenses, like a bundle of licenses. For example, 10 users are accessing, 10 users want to access same desktop, you have to purchase 10 licenses. 10 licenses. Okay, from the Microsoft per user license you have to purchase, and you can access your 10 users can access at a time. Normally, one user, one PC, or one connection. Okay, one license. Okay, this is the formula of Microsoft. But when you are required 10 users or 20 users or 30 users want to access single desktop, so then you have to purchase licenses. Okay, understand this point, guys. Remote desktop, multiple users required multiple remote desktop licenses. Okay, now why we should access remote desktop? Why I want access S1 from there? Why we need S1 to access from there to here? Why I need? The purpose is what? To access applications installed. So applications are running in the server, I can access from it. Means applications consumes, means consume means use my hardware resources like a CPU, RAM, hard disk. Okay, this utilize resources from here, and we can access from our desktop. We can access from our desktop. So this is called a remote desktop. So through remote desktop we can able to access applications running in the remote desktop, in a remote desktop. So we can access the application running in there using remote desktop connections. Protocol name is RDP. Okay, um, got the point, right? um, what we want application, right? Instead of accessing complete desktop, instead of accessing complete desktop, can we access only application? If in case what we want, application, not a desktop, just I need a application, just I want to access only the application or a particular application. I have multiple applications in there, but for based on particular user, only a particular application he can able to access. Permission to a application. Like I have a 10 application, only 2 applications a particular user can able to access. Like that. Okay. Or maybe just go with a direct one. So instead of adding the things, applications can able access. What I'm saying. So why we are accessing a desktop for running application like viewing application and working with an application, right? Instead of giving complete desktop, if I give only applications to the user, direct application access to the user, is it okay? Right? Only applications to you. You want application, instead of giving a complete desktop, I will give you application. Is it okay or not? No, why is no? Then why? So instead of accessing this application, this I will give you application instead of complete desktop. You are running application in your you look like you are working on the application in your system, but actually it is runs here only. Yeah, okay. Desktop means you have your own basic desktop. In that one only application is look like running. Okay, so complete desktop is not required to give. So only I can give applications only. So this we call it as a remote apps. Anytime have you seen remote apps options? Go to your control panel. You can see remote desktop and remote apps. Somewhere it will be there. Maybe it is a home edition. Because of home edition, it is, yeah, here it is. Remote app. What is this remote app? If you open the remote app, okay, access remote app and desktop, give the URL of the remote machine. Obviously, it will ask for authentication based on the user. Okay, based on the user. So I will open it again. See, based on the user, apps will be display. Open the application and you can start accessing. Just like I use documents here. Simply I'm accessing an application. Okay, so similarly I can able to access it. So this is what remote apps. So this is also called as a presentation virtualization. This is like a presentation virtualization. Okay. Next thing I will go for a next thing. um, Users created data, right? So when I use some application, based on the application data also created, right? Where the data will store by default user data, like you create a document and you want to save the document, where the document is by default it will show the location. Any guess? When I create a document, I want to save the document. So like this is a document. So when I yeah, disk, which location? Everything stores in disk only. Which location? For example, I am going to save it. It show the locations, right? By default, this is different one. Okay, it is showing different based on earlier one. Okay, but by default, which location it shows? Any document or a picture. You take a picture like a screenshot I taken. Where it is storing? Tell me. C drive. In where in C drive? See, where in C drive? Very good. Very good. Users documents. Very good. Like this. So if you go back once like a C drive, users, you can see multiple names are there because of some other things. But this is my username. Okay. How many users are there? Those many folders you can see here. Okay. This is user. This in this user, all your profile data is stored. What are the data in your desktop? What are the data in your documents? What are the things you download by default? Okay, so what are the applications you are using? See, Eclipse workspace, my Eclipse data stores in a C user. Very good. Saved games, videos, pictures, somewhere it is there, contacts, like that. Okay, very good. By shortcut wise means direct access is desktop, documents, downloads, pictures, videos, music. So These are your profile data things. So if you create a picture, by default it will show the path is pictures only. Okay, you download something, by default it stores in a downloads. This is my documents, see. Okay, so this actual location is C under users, which user you are currently using. So under that user only those folders are available. So this is called a profile data, user profile data. By default, whenever the user is use some application or a creating of a data like a documents or pictures or anything, by default it stores in the user's profile location. For example, this is user one, remote access. I'm talking about remote access, not a local user. I'm telling about a remote user. So user one access this remote desktop and use some application, and he want to save the application, the generated data. Okay, so where it will stores in this one only. So user data also stores in this location only. Like so, for example, just for example, just like this. Like you are in a Linux also, it stores user data, right? Where what is the location of your users profile data storage location? Like different folders will be created in this server, the data of users will store here only. In Linux, where it stores? Hmm? In Linux. In Linux, there is no user folder is not there. USR is there, not user. In Linux, if you create a user account, for example, Raju, you created a user account and you log in with a user account, then what is your PWD? Log in with user. What is your PWD? By default. Very good. Slash home slash. This is your home directory. Okay. So this is it. Okay. Now here it is. Hmm, how to tell? Yeah. This is user state. User state means where you are putting your user profile data. You want to put this profile data in a certain central location, centralized storage. You want to store it, and wherever the user is located, can able to access his profile data. So that is called a user state. User state. So we can move user profile data from one location to another location using a certain techniques like a user state migration tools. Okay, and UE-V, user experience virtualization. It means user profile data stores in some location, and then user can able to access his data from anywhere. Okay, so this is the basic structure. From there only I'm telling the next level of virtualization. So basically what it is, and from there how to virtualize the things. So using UE-V, so you can virtualize user state. Okay, keep the data in some location anywhere user can able to access through the network from any device also. Okay, these are all remote from nowadays. Okay, next remote apps already I told now, so that is okay. And also I told what is the presentation virtualization also. uh, Application virtualization, from this diagram also we can get it. Application virtualization means apps are accessing by multiple users. It burden on my physical machine, right? It is burden on my physical machine because lot of users are accessing. But if in case, if burden increases, or maybe it is a physical machine, it can be down anytime. Okay, but important is application access. Even if my server is down, but still I have to access this application. So there is a connection between this application and resources. So compulsory resources running application can able to run. Okay, if in case the system is down, application we can't able to access and it won't run anyway. So this we can able to move and we can make it as more intact and easy to accessible. It means you can run this application interface in your screen, and as well as you can run it on your desktop, and also we can move this application to other desktops also for load balancing and fault tolerance. Okay, we can move this application here and we can run, so from that one application we can access. Okay, so how it is possible? Using application virtualization. To use application virtualization in a Microsoft AppV. Okay, we use AppV from the Microsoft. Okay, from Microsoft. AppV is a application of ThinApp. ThinApp from VMware. XenApp. XenApp from Citrix. ThinApp from the Citrix. Of course, VMware also from VMware. One more is there that is called vRealistic. Using vRealistic and vHorizon, we can able to achieve this part also. Okay, so this is called a application virtualization. What is application virtualization? Is it there here or not there? It is they given only app week part only. Okay. AppV means I will show you the AppV. Virtualized apps by abstracting them from operating system. Apps display to users as if they are installed locally. As if they are installed locally. It is look like it is installed in your system only. Allow incompatibility apps to run side by side on the same operating system. You can access the application even though it is incompatible for your system also we can run it. Apps can be streamed from the server on a demand or deployed as a MSI file. We can stream means we can access an application just like you are through accessing through web browser. You can use a simple web browser and you can access your application, so you don't need to worry about to install in your PC also. Okay, or you can install in your PC and you can access. Example is in a cloud Office 365. Okay, and Google Apps. Okay, I'm not installing anything in my physical machine in a Google Apps, but still I'm accessing through web browser. And also I can install in my physical machine and access, just like so. This is a Word, but it is, you can see, it is my Office 365 app. It means I can run this and edit this application. I can create these PPTs and Word, Excel kind of stuff in my desktop, as well as through the web browser also I can able to access it. That is called a software as a service. How to achieve a software as a service? Using application virtualization only. Okay. So this is a presentation virtualization. Remote desktop services allow either desktop allows either a desktop or an application that is running on a server to display on the client. It means presentation virtualization is application running in a remote desktop, means remote PC, remote server, it is running. So we can access just we are accessing it. Remote desktop displays entire desktop, remote apps display just application interface only. Allowing application to run on a server can be used on a client, and be used on a client. Allow apps to be run on Windows RT on Microsoft devices. Allow user to run apps with a resources requirement beyond the device capability, and does not require locally installed apps but allow files associate associations. Even if, for example, if I am having a Linux operating system, but I want to access a Windows Word, MS Word, so I access that remote apps from the uh, Microsoft Windows, and I can run it. I can view it and I can access it through a simple web browser also. Okay, so this is presentation virtualization. User state virtualization provide a consistent experience of roaming users working from any device locally or remotely using VDI, virtual desktop infrastructure. So like if you are in a desktop virtualization, so user state also there, right? So user profile data is there. So that's why store application and operating system settings centrally so that they are available on any computer and user sign into domain. What is store applications and operating system settings centrally so that there are available on any computer user sign in them. So what are the user application stores the settings in the central machine? User log into any system so they can able to access. So user can works with locally installed apps, app v applications, remote apps application also. Totally confused or slightly confused? Network virtualization and storage I will tell separately, because these are all connected one with a single diagram. That's why. Okay. So you want to do remote desktop virtualization, so then we required application virtualization and user state virtualization also. Okay. Totally confused or slightly confused? I know you confused. See guys, first point I told, remote desktop. Remote desktop. So desktop is remotely and we are accessing from our client. So that is remote desktop, right? So you are accessing a complete desktop to access application, right? Or you can access only application. Afternoon I will tell practical. Afternoon definitely I will try practical. These things we cannot break. Yeah, give me a 10 minutes so then I will finish up this one. Okay. But each point, like there is a lot of materials available in Google. You can find it, but understanding is completely different because I different point. Okay. Okay. So remote app is to access only application. Only application. Remote desktop access entire. You can't practice, and practice is removed in your syllabus. Only two things only there. Why I'm typing wrongly? Enter entire. Whatever it is. So entire desktop to access application. Okay. So this is presentation virtualization. It means application running. Thank you. Okay. Application running in your central machine or a server, access from desktop remotely. Okay. So this is, you are telling it is a presentation virtualization. Now it is not. Actually, it is normal one. Just they put a name called a presentation virtualization part. Okay. This is considered as a presentation virtualization. Next. Your user state is also there now. So no. We'll go to application virtualization. What is this application virtualization? So application run on your central server, and also it is like you can see app v, then it is correct statement, displays to user as if they are installed locally. Okay. So application generally, before going to that one, normally application run on operating system, right? But they abstract the layer. Okay. The connection, the layer, and it runs on operating system, but it is not directly connected to your operating system, and it is runs on central server, and it display as run on client machine also. So it can be run like a we can run app. Okay, we can run the application from any device, any operating system with and without installation. Live OSs are there, so you no need to install a operating system. Just you insert a CD, just you can use it. So just like that one only. Okay, it is look like it is installed on a running on PC as well as it runs on your server also. We can use with the installation, without installation. But to achieve this one from Microsoft, already I told AppV, VMware, ThinApp. Okay. Citrix XenApp. Okay, like this. User state. Last one I told user state. It means every user profile settings store in centrally. So user can log in any device or any PC, any device, and can access users can access data, profile data, and settings. So what are the settings? Applications setting. Why I told everything in a one time only? Because each one is coordinated with each other. Means like you want a desktop VDI type of virtualization. Okay, so you want a desktop virtualization mainly in VDI format. So okay, so you need a application virtualization. Okay, and you need a user state virtualization. um, Important. Okay, so with this one only we can achieve your desktop virtualization also. That's why I told application virtualization, these are all things. And basically normal remote desktop means also I told that one. Okay, so this is it. And now take a lunch break, be back at so I will open by 2:30 p.m. So then guys start joining and complete joining by 2:45. Guys, coming early is not a crime. It is like a we should come at only 3 o'clock. It is not like that. Anything discussion questions you can discuss it also. And afternoon I will tell uh, network virtualization and storage virtualization. So very big it is keep going. Otherwise you're already feel bored. So then I will tell network virtualization tomorrow morning freshly. So afternoon, what we do? So I will tell VMware vSphere installation. Okay, so we'll see how to do it. I am trying for a 7. If in case 7 is not working, then I will go back to my 6.5 only. Okay, so how to install and all, I will show you that one and a few things. Then you at least you feel balanced. Tomorrow I will dedicate it to Hyper-V. Entire tomorrow fully Hyper-V part only. Okay. So because tomorrow I will tell network and storage virtualization, it is very easy to understand at a time of Hyper-V. Okay, and some terminologies which we discuss here. Okay, complete the part of attendance. Okay, guys, come back. Go for lunch. Come fast. Okay.
This conference is no longer being recorded.